Hey everyone, what's going on? I really did not plan on making a video today, but I did have a little extra time this morning to do some research, and I have some peace and quiet in the house. Plus, I'm off work today, which is nice. Anyway, I've been looking into SPYI as a possible investment high yielder to diversify my portfolio, and so far I like what I see. So I'm just going to share with you guys the information I was able to gather, and then you guys, take it for how it is, and maybe you can decide whether or not it's a good investment for yourself and your portfolio. So, what is SPYI? It's another covered call ETF. I know there's so many, but this one, it's newer, sticks out because it's one of the higher ones. It has a 12% distribution yield, which is not bad. So, where do I go when I research my stocks? I just go directly to the website. Obviously there's other YouTube channels and articles you can read, but in the end, it's better to do your own research on top of that and just see what does the website say. Similar to individual stocks. If you're going to try to research them, you have to use their own websites. They're not going to lie there. So anyway, this is their website. Neo Funds makes SPYI, which again is a pretty new fund. So when I go to a website on these covered called ETFs, first thing I just look at is the fact sheet. And, right off the bat, you're going to take a look. Typically, they're, most of them are the same. This one shows, obviously, they pay monthly. They have an expense ratio of 0.68%, which is lower than the yield maxers of 0.99. However, they only pay a 12, I say only, but they pay a 12% yield, so they better have a lower expense ratio. So what do? They do high monthly income generation. They aim to generate monthly income by investing in the S&P 500 index. There's also this is the big differentiator with this and like JEPI and all them, is they do their options classified into section 1256, which I have no idea what that means. But all that matters is you get taxed 60% of it long term, 40% short term. What does that mean? If 60% is taxed as long term, then you'll get the capital gains tax, which is 15%. If 40% is taxed as short term, then that'll be taxed as income tax. This is much, much better than everything getting taxed as short term, as income tax, because that's a much higher tax bracket, sometimes double in most cases. Potentially lower volatility. Yeah, which obviously 12% is low compared to some of the, more volatile covered call ETFs. And professional options management, blah, blah, blah. All right, what else? What else do we care about on the fact sheet? Distributions, if you look at the chart here, pretty consistent, going across the board. I like that. Consistency is good. As I mentioned, distribution yield 12%. They seek full replication of the S&P 500 index. And then obviously with, monthly income through covered call strategy. So, co-founder, blah, 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 top 10 holdings, which I'll get into that. Yeah. So that is the fact sheet and a whole bunch of definitions, which, you can read that in your own time. I assume most of you know what these definitions are. It takes up a lot of these documents. So yeah, that's the fact sheet. And what else do I look at? Obviously I just, I check out the website, which this pretty much says exactly what we had in the fact sheet. So no need to get into that. Fund inception, it came out August 30th, 2022. So as I said, pretty new. This is considered very new. And then fund resources right here, right? The other thing I look at is the prospectus. 24 pages, I know, but, I'm not going through all that. It's updated as of August 30th, 22. So maybe it's probably time they update it again, honestly. We just passed 1 year. So table contents, who cares? So what do we care about from this? Again, management fee, we already know, 0.68%. And so here it says the fund seeks to generate, again, this is important, high income from the premiums earned from the SPX call options, as well as dividends received from the fund's equity holdings. So right now, this fund actually holds S&P 500 stocks, the 500 companies or 500 plus companies in the S&P. So most of them pay dividends. So you collect the dividends from that, and you collect options premium from covered calls on the SPX. And the XPX call options seek to generate a net credit, meaning that the premium received from the sale of the call options will be greater than the cost of buying the long out of the money SPX call options. What does that mean? So on top of selling calls on the SPX, they take some of the credit, some of the premium income from that, and they buy a long out of the money SPX option. And the point of that is to capture some of the upside. So if SPX goes up massively, then you can capture some of the upside. It goes into the section 1256 contract, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the rest of this, I didn't really find any helpful at all. So to recap real quick, how do they make money? They invest. I apologize, my dog's barking. They invest in the S&P 500 stocks, which again, 500 plus stocks, pretty solid companies, very diversified. And they sell covered calls on SPX. Pretty simple. You make money from the dividends from the S&P 500 stocks, plus the premium from the covered call strategy. Okay. That's the recap of that. Now, what else do we want to look at? The other thing that I look at, there's a video here. It's very helpful. I did watch it, and I'll get into how it helped me in a second. And, distributions, we covered this. There's the 2020 distribution calendar. Here's 23. As I mentioned, pretty consistent payment, 47 cents, 47 cents, 46 cents, 48 cents, and so on. So pretty good. Now, what are their holdings? Good question. So their top holdings, as you can see here, Apple, of course, everything's freaking high on Apple. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Tesla. Of course, more Tesla exposure. It's just what we need, right? Exxon, Meta. We have some of these yield max underlying stocks in here. Anyway, so what are their holdings? The S&P 500, again, 500 stocks. So look at this. Obviously, tons and tons and tons and tons of holdings. But what sticks out is right here in the middle, zoom right in, SPX covered calls, right? They're selling calls for, against the SPX that expire October 23 with a strike price of $45.95 and $46.40. What is the price of SPX today? What was I going to do here? There we go. 45.07. So that is under the strike price, which is good. So there's risk because October's still far away, but we're looking good because, again, they expire worthless. We collect the premium. We can do another covered call. If the price of the SPX goes over that, they will have to cover the difference, which will impact the premium income for that month. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, here's all the other holdings, which again, S&P 500, it's a lot. There's a lot of stocks. Not going to go through that. So that's pretty much it. That's it in a nutshell. Oh, the only other thing, as I mentioned, when I downloaded the full holdings, is I only saw the covered call for the premium income. These are the options that we sold for income, right? I did not see the buy, the purchase of the call for the upside, where they would buy a call for a strike price greater than the covered call price. I did not see that. However, once I watched their video, it did say, that it does on occasion do that. So it's not all of the time. So they kind of covered it there. So, and it's based on how the market's reacting. So we may see that purchase of the call later on. So again, what do I think of SPY? I think it's pretty safe, honestly, compared to my Yield Max funds, because this is very diversified. They own 500 different stocks. They pay you the dividend from, your portion of owning them. And they do covered calls on SPX. And again, that's a risk, because if it doesn't work out, you could possibly, not make as much premium as you hoped or would owe, and that could come from capital. So your capital could go down if they have a premium loss from their options trading. So that's possible. That's the risk. But I feel really good about this fund just by looking at it. And again, the tax treatment, 60-40, I like that. That's good. So to me, it's a win-win, 12% yield. No, it's not 60%, of course. Obviously, you can't expect everything to pay 60%. So in the end, I'm gonna buy this, probably not next week, the week after, when I get my Yield Max distributions. So let me know what you guys think about this fund. Again, I thought it was a pretty good fund. I like what they're doing. It's pretty new, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it plays out. But again, you got to play to win, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, let me know what you think of this fund, if you own it. If you don't own it, also, please let me know why. And that's it, all right? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Later.